Hey guys, and welcome to today's first impressions video. Today we're looking at Super BuckyBall Tournament. This is the beta. It's pretty fun. It's like if you took the very serious nature, or I say very serious nature, but the more serious gameplay that you get with FIFA and the leagues on there and the single player on that and the campaign, with the utter wackiness and just tomfoolery that you get with Rocket League. It's 3v3 football with super abilities and just chaos, and I kind of like it. It's wacky enough that it's fun. It's different enough from both like major players in the game that you can really sink your teeth into it and have a lot of fun. How much longevity you're going to get out of it, I don't know. I don't know how much the different leagues vary from each other. I don't know how much the game really kind of changes up and how much each season is different. So I don't know what the longevity is like. If the multiplayer, however, picks up, then I can see this having a long life indeed. So it really all kind of depends on the multiplayer, as it does with most of these. Like Rocket League's got a very, very vibrant multiplayer community. FIFA also has a very vibrant multiplayer community, but the single player on this is pretty good from what I've seen so far. So yeah, I'm hopeful. Maybe Swords of Legends Online has given me false hope with other games, but I'm hopeful for this one. Settings wise, there's actually a fair amount of settings control on this, which is really nice. I don't like dynamic frame rate. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Just give me a number that I can set with unlimited frames as opposed to dynamic, which makes it sound like it's going to constantly switch. Although you have got VSync, which is good for, you know, if you're trying to make content with this game. And if you don't have a system that can handle maybe a high amount of frames. But this dynamic, I'm not a fan of. The other thing I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that it's doing, you know, it's fallen culprit to what a lot of other games have done, especially considering I'm trying more games that have got the sliders or the ones that literally make it very obvious that you're at the highest setting. This one doesn't, which means you end up going through and just checking to see if there's any setting there that's not quite the highest as it could probably go to. Also, it does have motion blur, which is on by default. Why would you do that? I've switched it off. Other than that, it's pretty robust options menu. There is a lot. I like the fact that you've got toggle voice off and on. You've got your mic device, which you can check, and the chat device. You can change it to be a public channel if you go into multiplayer, which is nice. You got your sensitivity. I will say that this is probably a game I'm going to find a lot easier with a controller, but I can see it doing very well with a keyboard and mouse as well. So there's that, and then obviously your language. They don't have many languages. It would be nice if they added more. But yeah, should we jump in and see what this game's all about and see if it's any good? Let's do that. Okay, here we are. This is your little hallway, your little slice of heaven as you start as a basement crawling D-League ass-about face team. You start with a number of players. You can go in the transfer market and the preseason buy load, and you've got your money here. You make your own team badge symbol. I'm hoping that on release they're going to have more of these. At the minute, there's just 2 badges that you get to choose from and your name. I'm hoping on full release that changes and gives you a lot more customization with it. It tells you the next round, what league you're in, and whether you won or lost on your last ones. Your transfer market is pretty simple. You've got your team, so you can try and poach. You've got free agency, advanced search, and then transfer history to see which players are, you know, doing well and which aren't. What I will say is it's nice that it does switch between keyboard and mouse and controller pretty seamlessly. You can manage your team. This is where you can do training schedules. This is what I say, like, the game has a lot of in-depth, you know, fairly advanced stuff that you find in the games like FIFA. Now, it's a very simplistic version of it, but the fact that it's got it at all is really nice to see. So you can train team members that you want to make a bit faster, you can select each one and give them more scroll and just see. So there you go. So you go through and you can make them train in ways that you want, although you can only put 4 people on. I don't know if you're going to be able to increase that as you gain more players and as you gain, you know, more money and more fame, and as the leagues go on. I don't know whether you're going to be able to essentially have a team that you can just fill this with and still be able to have a game. You can adjust your squad lineup so you can see who's who and what's what. Generally, these are the only 3 that I've got left because I don't have that many team members, which means that's where they're going to go. And you can see all the stats of each player that you select on, which is kind of cool. And then you've got your player list, and this just shows you all of the players and all of their stats that they've got. It shows you a pretty decent overview of each of their skills. It's really, really cool. It's really, really, really nice, and you can see that you get skills at different levels. So that's kind of cool. So when they level up and they get to, you know, level 10, level 20, level 30, and level 40, they get a lot of cool things, which means that you're going to have an easier time of it or a harder time of it in the game, depending on how well you play. Next, you've got the office, which is your schedule, your news, and your club journal. This is pretty standard. Again, it looks like they've very much taken a lot of inspiration from the way that FIFA does their single-player campaign. Your equipment shop. I don't know what any of this is, but it looks expensive. Aiming support. Yeah, sure. Let's buy it. I've only got 65k left. I don't know what I do with it, but there you go. I don't know whether you use it as sort of like a consumable, where you can do that, and then you can see the schedule of your past wins and losses, which is kind of cool. And then you can just start the game. So we're going to jump in. Obviously, we're probably going to lose this. Like, they've got much higher teams than us, but all of my team are out in training. So you begin the match. What I will say is the loading times in this are pretty good. The starting cinematics and stuff of each match are very, very overdone to the style that they're done. You know, it's very, very Americanized sort of nonsense. Movement and switching between players is a bit finicky. You can switch between each other. You can sprint and stuff, but the AI is always on, like, taking control of the players that you're not being, which is fine, except for the fact that if you switch when they're halfway through doing something, it can make things a bit difficult. Aiming is also a nightmare, an actual nightmare, because you've got your stamina bar, and I really don't like where it's placed, because it puts you off, because you think you're gonna be aiming one way, and you kind of, especially if you're used to playing, I don't know, say like a first-person shooter or whatever, you're kind of used to using whatever's on the screen as like a crosshair, right? Which is fine until it's not. You can pass to other players as well if you want to, which is generally quite well advised. I am not good at this. What can I say? But passing is automatic by the look of things. Go. That was terrible. So it's pretty fast paced. It's pretty high octane. You can set the time limit of the match to whatever you want it to be, which is kind of cool. And the AI does seem to cheat just a tiny amount, just enough for it to be annoying. I can't get through. I've got no one near me, but it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty intense. I can see playing this with friends would be a lot more fun than trying to play with the AI. You gonna pass to me? Of course he is. It would be nice if tackling was a bit more intuitive, maybe. Like, instead of it just feeling like you're just punching it in whatever way, it would be nice if it actually felt like you could slide in and do a bit more like controlled tackling almost. But overall, it's not bad. I've definitely played worse games, and for like a weird cross between FIFA and Rocket League, it's not a bad attempt. Like, it does play pretty smooth. It takes a lot of getting used to, that's all, and jumping at the right time, and you know, because I use controller, I don't know if a mouse is any quicker. A mouse would be a lot quicker, but I also feel like a mouse would be a lot harder to control as well. I don't know. I like it. It's just it's going to take a lot of getting used to, right? I feel like with a couple of hours in the game, getting used to the controls, working out like the best way of passing and being able to pass quickly and then switching character and then getting the aiming right, getting to a high enough level that you unlock your specials, especially with the the main character that I've got. He's got a pretty much an instant goal with his special, which is kind of cool. Getting all that leveled up and working through the team and working the league and winning, I can see this consuming a lot of people's time. And if the multiplayer is good and if it works well as a co-op, you know, if you can have three of your friends playing online against 3 people online, I think the game would have a lot more substance to it. So yeah, high potential, very cool graphic scheme, very smooth to run, pretty good soundtrack, cheesy as all fuck cinematics, and a cool setup and a nice theme. It's not completely original, but it's original enough. So yeah, guys, that has been Super BuckyBall Tournament. Let me know in the comments down below if you feel like it. Let me know if this is a game that you feel like you could really get into. Let me know if it's a game that you thought you needed. Like, do you think that FIFA should just stick to being FIFA and Rocket League should just stick to being Rocket League? Or do you like the fact that they've kind of combined the two in a more... It's like the middle ground between the two, if you like. Let me know in those comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe as well if you haven't already. We are only 6 away from 600. It would be great if we could hit the milestone. But thank you very much for watching, guys. And I hope to see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.